Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time. Many trading card game players find their story beginning with the pre-release experience. Now, it varies from game to game, but they're all pretty great. And today I want to talk about the pre-release experience for Star Wars Unlimited, especially as it pertains to the upcoming Legends of the Force release. And Fantasy Flight Games was nice enough to send me a pre-release kit. So today I thought we would crack this open, take a look at everything that's inside, and compare it to other pre-release experiences you might be familiar with. Now, this kit does have everything we need in it to play in our pre-release event, but I always like to bring a playmat. I've got one of the new ones here from Gamegenic with Yoda lifting the X-Wing out of the swamp. And then you also want to bring some card sleeves. I've got a couple of those as well with cool character designs on them. It's just a good way to protect your new cards and prevent them from getting mixed up with your opponent's deck, which can happen during a pre-release. If you've got some already, bring them. Otherwise, pick them up at your local game store when you get there and get started on your pre-release experience. All right, so I think I'm just going to rip the top right off of this box, and we'll see what we've got waiting for us here inside. Okay, your pre-release kit is going to have 6 booster packs from the latest set, which again is Legends of the Force. It's going to have a little pre-release guide here with some tips on how to make your deck, which we can talk about. A little sheet of the punch-out tokens here for damage and initiative and epic actions. And then a little cardboard deck box, which inside, should have your 2 guaranteed leader cards. So everyone's pre-release pack comes with the exact same 2, and they are the same ones that you would get in the standalone kind of starter decks that you can buy as well. So in here we have a Hyperspace Darth Maul and a Qui-Gon Jinn, which again are the same 2 that you'll get in the decks that you can buy separate. But this way, everyone's guaranteed to have a heroic and a villainous character available to use in the pre-release event if they want. And I think that that's really cool. I love that this game gives you playable promo cards. Again, these don't appear in any of the booster packs, so you either have to get your butt to a pre-release or pick up the starter decks, which not everyone needs or wants, but it is nice to have a full collection of all the leaders because there's lots of cool things you can do with these guys. So we've got Qui-Gon and Maul to start things off, and then again a nice little sturdy deck box here with an insert to kind of act as a divider so you can have your deck separate from everything else that you open at the pre-release. A really convenient package overall. I love it. All right, so the part we're obviously most interested in is our 6 booster packs. So at a pre-release, this is your entire card pool. This is what you're going to use to build a 30 card deck along with 1 leader and 1 base. And you're going to play against your opponents with that. Usually it's 3 or 4 rounds, usually best of 1, but every store does it a little bit different. So make sure you check with whoever's running your store's event. Make sure you understand the rules before you pay your entry fee and sign up and sit down and get started. We are just going to assume that we're playing at my local game store where you get 30 minutes to open your 6 packs and build your deck. And then you're going to do 4 rounds of best of 1. And there are prizes at the end of that. But again, each store might do things a little bit differently. Now, in terms of bases, in these packs, there should be the basic bases, which for this set have a unique mechanic attached to them, and we'll talk about that in a second. The store should also have a stack of those available as well. So if you don't open the color base that you want to use, you can ask, again, your event coordinator, or just ask one of your neighbors, because if they have one in a color that they're not using, you are allowed to trade or give away the bases. But you can't trade or use anyone else's other real cards. That includes leaders or any of the other stuff that comes out of these packs. You've got to use only what you open yourself out of your boosters to make your 30 card deck. So let's get to it. All right, so when I'm opening new packs, especially at a pre-release, I like to kind of sort them out as I go. And so we've got an Ahsoka leader here, so I'll add that to the pile with Maul and Qui-Gon. And then we've got one of those common bases I was talking about. In this case, it's the red one. So for this set, there are a cycle of common bases in all 4 colors, and they all start with 28 HP, and then they all have the same ability on them, which is when a friendly force unit attacks, the force is with you. The force is a major mechanic in this set. You'll use it to, and then there's on the back of it, there's a force token that you can use to show when the force is with you or when you spend it. So the force is kind of like an extra resource that you can use to enable the special abilities of a lot of cards. Some leaders care about it. Some of your units or events, when you play them, they'll ask you to spend it, or they'll get better if you can spend it. So lots of cool things you can do with the force, and again, it works for every color. There are also rare bases that are going to have different ways to gain the force, and they will also have different amounts of starting health. So you're going to have to weigh, do you just run one of these 28 HP starter bases that everyone has access to, or if one of your rare cards are a rare base, you might have an extra strategy that you can tap into for the pre-release. All right, so then we've got, I'm trying to avoid the glare here and keep my microphone where you can hear everything, but all right, so then we have In the Shadows, Sorcerers of Tund, It's Worse, Tip the Scale, Graceful Purgil, Knight's Saber, the Trident Assault Ship, an Heirloom Lightsaber, Ravenous Raftar, Quinlan, Balin's Skull, a Caretaker Matron. Ooh, and then we did get a rare base. We have the Tomb of Ilram, and it says, as an action, we can exhaust a friendly unit to then get the force with us. So this would be a different way to generate the force. Rather than attacking with a force unit, we can just exhaust any of our friendly units and use them to make the force. And then we have a foil Battle Fury. All right, so normally I would separate these in like a 3x5 kind of grid, but just to save space and speed things up, I'm just gonna do the colors and then like a colorless and a black and white kind of off to the side. So we'll have all the reds together, all the blues together, all the greens and all the yellows, just for now. All right, let's see what's in pack 2. Our leader here is Kit Fisto, who is an interesting one. He cares about how many Jedi you have in play, and he gets more powerful and can do more stuff the more of those you've got, so we want to keep our eyes open for additional Jedi units that might be able to back him up. We've got Go Into Hiding, Jedi Sentinel, which could work with Kit Fisto there, Vulptex, Protect the Pod, Lothwolf, Unleash Rage. There he is. There's Darth Maul. Everyone's favorite character. Am I right? Terran Attack. That's a cool guy. A Tauntaun. Oh man, all the best creatures. Cartel Interceptor, Acclamator Assault Ship, Focus Determines Reality. These cards are so cool. I love it. Luthen, if you are a fan of Andor, we've got Luthen here from the show, and he's not too bad. 4 cost, 4/5, and on attack, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an item, upgrade, reveal it, and draw it. So he just kind of digs through your deck to find lightsabers or other pieces of equipment that you can use to upgrade your characters. Very handy to have. And then we've got Luke Skywalker as our rare in this pack, so he is very cool. I mean, it's Luke Skywalker. What's not to love? And he says, when you play another unique unit, you can use the Force. If you do, give an experience token and a shield token to Luke. So as he sees other heroes enter the fray, if the Force is with you, you can use that to make Luke bigger and stronger, and he just kind of grows into this unstoppable threat, which I love. That's a really cool bit of storytelling through the cards. And you know me, I mean, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. And then we've got a foil Medical Frigate, which looks beautiful here. And on attack, you may heal 2 damage from another unit. So this will just keep everybody alive and healthy. Very cool. All right, pack 3. We have another copy of Ahsoka here. So we've got 2 of her. We've got a blue base. So we've got all 4 colors of our common bases already. So we'll be able to use any of those with any of our leaders there. We've got a Life Wind Sage. Gifted Urchin. So this is like an underrated card, I think. Or like underappreciated, I'll say, right? Because she's colorless or has no aspect to her. So she can go in any deck. And she's a 1/4 with the Force, and she's a fringe. So she doesn't like fit into any specific archetype, but because all the common bases want you to attack with Force units, having a cheap Force unit with, you know, a decent amount of health on her, she'll live a while, she'll be able to attack a few times, generate the Force for you. This can go into a lot of decks, so keep your eye out for her. Then we've got the Adept of Anger. We've got Hyperspace Sorceresses of Tund. Exegol Patroller, if that one looks familiar, it's because it was my preview card, one of my preview cards for this set. I got a video on that on the channel, so go check it out. Grappling Guardian. We have our first Ewok. We have the Village Tender. All these guys. So a little 1/3 with Hidden and Restore 1. So the Hidden is a new mechanic, and units with that can't be attacked when they are played, so they're protected for a turn, which can keep your guys from getting bumped off a little too early there. We've got Thralls of the Coven, Talzin's Assassin, Lor San Tekka. So this is a unique character. Might play well with Luke, especially because when he's defeated, you can give an experience token to another unique unit, so he could feed Luke twice. That'd be pretty cool. We've got Quinlan again. We've got Karis. We have a legendary. We have Bendu. So this is an 8-cost 10/10, and he says on attack, deal 3 damage to each other unit. So that is awesome. You'll love to open a legendary in your sealed pool, and then a hyperspace foil, Acolyte of Beyond, also in red. All right, halfway through, and we've got a legendary. Now I've heard pre-release kits are stacked with like better cards than normal. I don't know if that's actually true, but we'll see. All right, our leader here is the Grand Inquisitor. So if you're a fan of the darker side of the Force, or just like hunting down Jedi, I mean, you got options there. Another base. We have a Forged Starfighter here. Disturbance in the Force. Last Words. Jedi Sentinel. A Tuk-Ata. This is just a really aggressive creature that can attack for 4, and it's got Hidden, so your opponent's going to have a very short window to deal with it. The Paladin Training Corvette, which works great with other Force units. Bolstered Endurance, a nice simple upgrade there that Luthen can actually find for us. We've got a Jedi Knight. The Hive Defense Wing. Balin Skull, I think that's our second one of him. Another Caretaker Matron. Calm in the Storm. Captain Enoch is our rare, and he says this unit gets +1/+0 for each trooper in your discard pile. That's probably going to be kind of hard to build around. I don't know if we'll have enough troopers in our pool. And then a foil, Unleash Rage. All right. 2 more to go. Ooh, another copy of Grand Inquisitor, but this one is Hyperspace, so the art goes right up to the edges there. Looks great. Another base. We've got a Gungan Warrior, one of Jar Jar's cousins here. The Ascension Cable, which can give our unit Saboteur. Very helpful for getting past those Sentinels. Army of the Dead. Look at this. This is just a vanilla, we would call it, right? Because it's got no real abilities in the text box. It is just a 6-cost 7/6 Knight Undead. So it doesn't have the Force or anything, but this thing just does a ton of damage. You know, your opponent still has to interact with it. So we would say that it has keyword big. Secretive Sage. This is probably one of the better 2-cost units in this whole set. So it's a 2-cost 2/2 with shielded, and it's a Force unit. So it's going to hopefully live long enough. You can put equipment on it. It'll be able to attack and activate your Force base. That's a very good card to have. Itinerant Warrior is another Force Jedi here. It's a 4/4 for 4 with shielded. And when played, you may use the Force. If you do, heal 3 damage from your base. That can be huge, right? That can buy you a whole extra turn. And then again, the shield on it, very durable unit. Now, this is another one that I think is something to look out for in the pre-release. This is the DRK1 Probe Droid. It's just a 2-cost 2/3 in red. And it says, when played, you may defeat a non-unique upgrade. So this thing can pop shields, it can remove experience tokens, it can take away a lot of the lightsabers and other upgrades. And that's all really helpful. There's not a lot of like upgrade disruption in this set. So having a card that fits into almost any deck, I would even put this in a non-red deck, and then you'd pay maybe 4 for it, but you still get a 2/3 body that can defeat something that was maybe giving you trouble. So keep your eye out for that probe droid. Then we've got the Jedi Temple Guards, Whirlwind of Power. Give a unit -2/-2 this phase. If you control a Force unit, give it -3/-3 instead. So that is just a good piece of flexible removal there. We love shrinking stuff down to kill it. We've got Hunting Nexu, Directed by the Force, a lightsaber throw, Impossible Escape, and a rare here is Doom. So this requires double blue. That's a little bit hard to pull off in a pre-release, but it's a 2/7, and it says when the regroup phase starts, give an experience token to each other friendly non-vehicle unit. So it won't buff up your ships, but anything on the ground pretty much gets bigger the longer this guy's in play, and that can be huge. I mean, even if you have to pay 6 for this, it might still be worth it. And then our foil in the back is a Blockade Runner, which is a gorgeous ship. It's got Saboteur, and when it deals combat damage to a base, you can give an experience token to it. So your opponent has to deal with that. They can't just throw a Sentinel in front of it. It can Saboteur right past and keep chipping away at their base and just get bigger and bigger and bigger until they find a way to kill it. All right, last pack in our pre-release pool. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, possibly one of the best leaders in this set and one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. So he, as an action, he can use the Force to give an experience token to a unit without an experience token on it. So he can't keep buffing up the same thing, but he can buff up just about anybody so long as you've got the Force. I love it. And we've got another base. We've got, I think, our 3rd copy of these sorcerers here. We've got It's Worse. We've got a Corrupted Saber for a villainous deck. We've got the Knight of Ren, just again a vanilla 3-cost 4/4. Beefy stats there. The Padawan Starfighter, Thralls of the Coven, a Relic Scavenger, a 5-cost 4/6 with Restore 2. That can get you into the late game. Hey, Supremacy Tie SF. This was another one of my preview cards. I like this one a lot. A 3-cost 3/3 Sentinel. Can do a lot of work up in space, keep you alive, protect you from a lot of damage. Witch of the Mist. So this is a very cheap Force unit, a 1-cost 1/3 with Hidden, so you can play her, be confident she's going to survive, probably get in an attack on the next turn, generate some Force for you. Owen Lars. He's a moisture farmer, of course, so he's a 0-powered unit, and he's got Restore on him, and when he's defeated, you get to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Force unit, so he can maybe find you a Luke or something else like that. Sith Legionnaire. Ki-Adi-Mundi. Love this guy because he's bald. He reminds me a lot of myself. He's also very smart. He's got 2 brains, which I don't have, but, still. 4 costs for a 4/4, so those stats are like average-ish, but he is a Force unit, and when played, you can use the Force to draw 2 cards. I mean, that's great. We love Mulldrifters, right? Cards that replace themselves are huge, even in Limited, especially in Limited. You get to see more of your deck, find your better cards. I love it. Premonition of Doom is our rare, and it says the next time you take initiative this phase, exhaust all units. So you play this, your opponent does something, you then claim initiative, you exhaust the whole board, they can't attack you anymore this turn, and you're safe. It's kind of like a fog, but again, could be crucial in getting you to the later stages of the game. And then the last card in the last pack is a foil rare, Size Matters Not, and it's the same art that I've got on this playmat here. That is super cool. So it's a double blue 3-cost upgrade. It says if you control a force unit, this upgrade costs 1 less to play. Attached units printed power is considered to be 5, and printed HP is considered to be 5. So you can turn something small into a 5/5, or if your opponent plays like, I don't know, they play Bendu on you, you can shrink him down to a 5/5. So a lot of flexibility in this card. I think it's really cool. I don't know how easy it is to play in a double blue deck, although I mean we've also got Doom, so maybe there's a path here. We have to think about it. All right, so after going through everything we just opened, I've settled on a red and blue deck with Kit Fisto as the leader and the Shadowed Undercity common blue base. Let me show you the 30 cards out of what we just opened that I would be most interested in running in this deck. We'll look at the red cards first here. So Witch of the Mist, like we said, a nice cheap body that can generate the force for me. Maybe we can throw a Knight's Saber on her on the next turn. The Probe Droid, as I said, very important piece of interaction for our opponent's lightsabers. A Jedi Knight to generate the force, a Cartel Interceptor, just so we've got some ability to attack and defend ourselves up in space. Ki-Adi-Mundi, which we said was really good for drawing extra cards. Quinlan Voss, who we can upgrade with a lightsaber or put an experience on him with some of our other cards, and he eventually just grows into a huge threat. The Blockade Runner, which I really like for up in space. I think I would try running this Rathtar, even though it doesn't have any abilities on it. It does attack for a ton of damage and is just very aggressive. I gotta try putting the Bendu in here. I mean, it's a legendary, it is huge bomb, and that's our red cards. So pretty aggressive, but also some ability to draw extra cards and interact with our opponent off of that Probe Droid. Blue is gonna supply Owen Lars, who can go find us a bunch of our force units, including the Secretive Sage, which we said was really good. This Lothwolf, which is a nice solid 3/3 Sentinel. It can't attack, but that's fine. We're going to try out this Tauntaun in here. You may give a shield token to a damaged non-vehicle unit when it's defeated, so if our opponent kills it, we get to protect something else, which could be good. Luthen, as we said, being able to dig through our deck to find our lightsabers or other upgrades could be huge, and we've got a few right behind him here with the Heirloom Lightsaber and the Bolstered Endurance, along with that Knight's Saber out of the red package. So we got a couple of things for him to go find for us, and then he could hand that off to maybe the Itinerant Warrior or somebody like that. We've got a Graceful Purgil up here in space. This is a 2/7 Space Sentinel, so that'll definitely keep us from taking any damage up in space for a while. And I'd like to try out this event here, Calm in the Storm. Exhaust a friendly unit. If you do, give a shield token and 2 experience tokens to it. So this can protect and upgrade something. I mean, if we put this on our Luke or on our Lothwolf, right? You open on that, you got a decent sized Sentinel, and it doesn't need to attack anyway, so you can just exhaust it, throw a shield on it, 2 experience on it, make a huge brick wall for the opponent. Whirlwind of Power, as we said, it's good to have ways to kind of kill or defeat opponents' things. Padawan Starfighter for up in space, and a Grappling Guardian. So our curve runs a little high there, but I think we'll be okay because we've got lots of ways to draw extra cards here. Here's our Caretaker Matron coming out of the neutral, well, heroic cards here. So this one, as an action, we can exhaust it to draw a card if we've played a force card this phase. We're going to try out that Gifted Urchin. This Vulptix creature is a 2-cost 3/2 with Hidden, so that's pretty good. The Gungan Warrior gives us a little bit of Restore in case we need some health. Luke, as we said, is great. And the Medical Frigate, same as well. And then I'm pulling the Colorless. It's worse. So it costs 7, but it can defeat any non-leader unit. And sometimes you just need an answer to what your opponent's doing. And I needed a 30th card. So that is the deck I would make with this pool. Maybe you think you could do better. I would love to see you prove it at a Star Wars Unlimited pre-release. Legends of the Force releases on July 11th. Which means the pre-releases start the weekend before, 4th of July weekend. It's coming up, so check out your local game store, see if you can still sign up, go to that thing, dominate, then come back and leave me a comment and let me know how you did. I'd love to hear about it. Then make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. Thanks again to my friends at Fantasy Flight Games for supplying everything we saw here. and we'll see ya.